How much do you think then, like jiu-jitsu in like a street version, obviously this seems to be a common thing, like, oh, well, when there's fists, it means fuck all sort of thing. Like if, people are doing it for that self-defense point of view, how beneficial do you think it is?
Of course, being able to protect yourself is going to be a big factor. Like, obviously, you're not going to pull guard because you're going to get kicked in the head. But
Could you imagine?
exactly. But if someone was to start a fight with Josh, I'm confident 100% he can wrap his hands around that guy and put them to the ground and stop the situation. And I think that goes for everyone who's at a good level of jiu-jitsu. They will be able to protect themselves. Training specifically for self-defense, you have to have self-defense in mind. So if you're training and you're doing positions where you can be hit or you could be attacked in any way, you have to take those positions out of your training and apply only positions where you're going to be safe from strikes and other factors.
Which I guess like is interesting because I look even as the fundamentals of what I've learned so far, like the amount of times you get put in just a tight position, you're like, I actually can't use my arms or my legs really anyway. So I guess like you look at and you get someone tight in like a side control or a mount, and you're kind of like, there's pretty much fuck all they can do with their arms anyway.
Exactly. And you see that. I think a good way to like look if a technique's going to work in self-defense is it being used in MMA, because that's as close as you can come to an altercation on the street within rules, So if it's being applied in MMA, then it's probably going to be useful in a street scenario.
How much then? So obviously M16 is an MMA based gym.
Yeah.
So the guys that are then the MMA fighters, how different does their training look compared to your training on the mats?
Again, it's that thing of rule sets. Their rule sets allow striking. So we use techniques, like I'm saying, that nullify striking, keep us safe in striking. Their training, obviously, they have set MMA sessions. They do the grappling sessions. And I teach stuff that's obviously not going to apply to them as much, but it's important for them to still know these techniques. So they'll use that, they'll learn, they'll just grow their wealth of grappling knowledge. But it becomes pretty intuitive when you've done it for a little while. From what I've seen of the guys, I don't train MMA myself. They can filter out what's good and what's not. And obviously when we do the MMA sessions, I was working with the guys on their grappling, and we would work specifically from MMA safe techniques.
Yeah. So they're kind of like they'll do their own sessions as well in that sort of scenario to really nail down on those MMA specific grappling.
Exactly. A lot of cage work and a lot of ways we can keep ourselves safe, and a lot of like reactions we'll get when you are striking an opponent and things they will give you that aren't going to present themselves in jiu-jitsu.
Head over to Jordan Checker Podcast to get the full exclusive experience.